Yeah. So anyway, yeah, we're going live here, and I'm interested to hear what you got to say today. What's on the plate? So we are going live in three, two, one. Good morning, kids. How's it going? Welcome to today's episode of the Kong Family Show. We got our buddy Ian Rude, aka the Voltinator, in the house for his bi-monthly visit to the show. And so I'm actually over in Hawaii, as you can see the palm trees in the background, and been an interesting little trip here. And so, yeah, crazy things going on, Ian, between all this stuff going on with this coronavirus and that kind of stuff. It's pretty neat knowing that we have the solution to that. And I don't know if you got to see the video from Dr. Horst Filzer, where he said that coronavirus doesn't stand a chance against Kong. I was like, sweet, yeah, I agree.
Very susceptible to pH.
Yeah, so what's going on with you, buddy? How the heck is it over there in Arkansas?
Well, kind of cloudy and rainy today, but apart from that, I'm blessed.
Awesome. So you were saying something about that you're going to be going mobile with the newbie and with your system and your training and all that. And I know you were down there in Texas for I'm guessing that was kind of maybe the start of your mobile application of this, and so I'm definitely interested in hearing more about what you got going on and what your plans are.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we're actually working on in Texas, we have a partnership, of course, with NeuFit, the manufacturer of the Newbie device, which is an acronym for Neurological Bioelectric Stimulator. And again, I always feel compelled to explain to people that it's not a TENS unit, because TENS units can only serve to contract a muscle. And so they send a stimulation, the muscle contracts, and they use alternating current. So if you were to put a TENS unit on your bicep and your tricep, for example, and try and do a bicep curl, you're going to be locked up in concentric co-contraction. You won't be able to move. All those muscles are just firing in a way that promotes shortening and promotes tension on the connective tissues. What we're doing is sending a neurological signal to the brain and basically overloading the stretch receptors on the muscles. So we're causing 500 contractions per second at times, but we're causing muscles to elongate and we're causing muscles to work in opposition of one another. And we're boosting the signals that travel from the brain to the muscles through the nervous system back to the brain. And we don't use alternating current, it's direct current, and the waveform that we use is very harmonious to the body, so the body doesn't protect against it like it would a TENS unit. And we can actually promote rest and digest within the nervous system versus the fight or flight that most people spend their lives in. So if you're constantly in fight or flight, you can't heal. So this technology has very unique effects on the human body. As far as what we were doing in Austin, that's a new program that we're working on. I've partnered with Bioenhancement Tech out of Austin, which is the main distributor for NeuFit on their performance enhancement side. And there's a buddy of mine that owns that company, and we've decided to join forces. And we are providing some of the most advanced practitioner education on the face of the planet whenever it comes to electrophysiology and functional neurology with this type of equipment.
So you mean you're like training doctors how to utilize this technology?
Doctors, physical therapists, personal trainers, chiropractors. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
It's a lot of fun. I love to teach. And then as far as the mobile unit, we are working on a plan right now to get our mobile lab set up and what that's going to look like. If we get any interest from this, I'm actually hoping that Enagic folks will really latch on to what we're doing, because Enagic folks tend to be a little bit more open-minded and health conscious than the average sleepwalker.
Yeah.
And they can see the value, I would think, in boosting the signals through their nervous system and boosting their body's ability to heal and recover and adapt and function. So what we're going to do is get a truck and an RV, basically, with about a 16-foot garage. And we're going to set the garage up as a mobile fitness lab. And so we're working on some partnerships with a couple of companies that have some diagnostic equipment for function, so we can tell where a person's shutting down, saying like an overhead squat assessment, tell what muscles are firing, not firing, and then the system will graph that for us. And so that's just so that we can track improvement. And then we've got some other technologies that we're looking at to measure heart rate variability, sleep quality, help people track and log nutrition. We've actually got our new client-facing portal set up that actually allows people to build out their own workouts. We can tailor workouts for them. So if somebody gets a newbie and they're going to work on a certain area, I can build out a virtual representation of the workout that I want them to do, with number of sets, number of reps. It explains form. They can go in and see what muscles are supposed to be firing, in what direction, in opposition, synergistically, everything. It lights it up and shows you exactly what you're supposed to be doing, so there's no guesswork.
Wow. I saw that video that you put together with your wife doing little workouts with it.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming she was utilizing the newbie. And obviously that was kind of interesting stuff. And like I told you before, I'm really intrigued by this technology, and I really want to learn about it and like be my first guinea pig or whatever, you know. I mean, I want to try using it. I want to see if I can keep my OEM part, and you know, so that's going to be, I'm really looking forward to seeing where this all goes, and how I can eventually get involved with it and be, you know, be one of your people that is doing this, because like you said before, this and Kong's Water pretty much go hand in hand together. And perhaps you could give everybody just a brief rundown on why, because I remember you telling me that you'd been utilizing this technology for a period of time and having great results with it. But then when you added Kangen Water to the equation, that it really exploded the results. And could you elaborate on that a little bit, and why you think that that was the case, and why it is the case, and that kind of thing?
Absolutely. So there's no thinking about it. If your body is properly hydrated, it's going to function better. On top of that, if you look up any studies on PubMed.gov, Google Scholar, Science Direct on electrolyzed reduced water or activated molecular hydrogen, you're going to see exactly what this does for the body. The thing about the newbie is that we can speed the healing of tissues, and we can replenish action potential at the cells. So we can speed healing, but we also have an amazing avenue to cause breakdown within the body, to cause micro tearing within muscles, and to actually break down tissue so that the body can rebuild it. We refer to that in weightlifting and bodybuilding as hypertrophy. So normally, if you're wanting to build muscle, you lift really heavy weight as much as you can. And the issue with that is that it stresses your joints and your connective tissues. So that's why we end up with a lot of people in the gym who will be doing bicep curls and they'll pop a tendon, something like that, or throw their back out and compress a disc. And so the benefit of the Nubia is that we can put the same amount of stress or greater stress on your system without actually stressing your joints, because we're able to do it by taxing your nervous system the same way without super heavy weight.
Man, that's fascinating.
It's
I,
pretty neat.
I honestly can't wait to try this and feel it and see, you know, because it's one thing to talk about it and hear about it and contemplate about it, but I'm looking forward to the time when I actually get to try it and see what it does, see how it feels, and that kind of thing. It's just so fascinating.
Well, I've got a post out on the Enegic Water Secrets group. And so basically, what Laura and I are working on right now, we're finishing up some remodel on our home. And then as we transition, we're going to sell our home and make a purchase on a fifth wheel. And so then we're going to set out our road trip across the US. And so we need to know where we're going. That way we can plan the trip and see how this is going. But anybody that wants to become a client or wants to work with us on this, I can just about guarantee you everybody that works with us will become addicted to what we're doing. So we just need to have an idea of where we're taking it. So we'll make you one of the stops.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I look forward to promoting that and hopefully getting a big group of people that want to give it a shot, want to see what it's all about. And so I'm sure that you're going to have some good promotional stuff that we can utilize to let people know. Like I'm not sure what that Thames thing is you were talking about, but I got a buddy that has some sort of an electrical system that he hooks up to himself all the time. And he raves about it. And I would imagine that it might be something like that. I don't know for sure what it is. I just know that it's something he's been using for years and years.
The big difference that I would say between what we're working with and competing technologies is that we actually have a patented system that allows us to use multiple frequencies in quick succession to stimulate up to 97% of muscle tissue within a session.
Wow.
And so we're simply going to accomplish more than anybody else is going to accomplish because of the patented framework that we work with.
Yeah,
interesting. As far as how Kangen water applies to that in performance enhancement and recovery, like I said, if your body's hydrated properly, it's just going to function better. But also, if you think about how oxygen makes it to all of your cells, body's 75% water. So water is the medium for that transport, for the blood lipid transport, for everything that happens for cellular metabolism. It all happens in water in your body.
Yeah.
And we're electrical beings. We've talked about that time and time again. And water is a great conductor of electricity, but your cells are supposed to have an inherent negative charge, right? So that you can have, that negative charge keeps the voltage inside your cell. And as you know from reading Dr. Tennant's books, your cells have to have so many volts to work properly. If you start to lose that power within the mitochondria, within the powerhouse of the cell, then the cell doesn't function properly and it starts to behave in a way that is abnormal. That's where we get dis-ease within the body.
Yeah.
So if you're looking at this from an inflammatory model, from an oxidative stress model, which I personally believe that oxidative stress and inflammation accounts for 100% of the issues that we're dealing with in a society. That coupled with malnutrition, toxicity, but it all comes back to stress on the system. Right. So you're going to be better hydrated. You're going to be taking in water that has a negative charge already. So it's going to have antioxidant properties because of the hydrogen. It's going to flush you out. It's going to help your body detox. It's going to get that electricity back into the cells, get that water into the cells because it's a structured reduced water. So it can find the aquaporin in your cell and fits in there like a key into a lock versus trying to, as we've used the analogy before, taking 15 molecules and trying to cram square peg into round hole. Also, this water doesn't slosh around in your stomach. It has a negative electrical charge. And so one thing that's been found with it is that it will actually open the pyloric sphincter and it doesn't slosh in your stomach. So you can drink a gallon of this and go and run 5 miles.
And not even have it. Yeah, you could drink this water and go swimming and things like that and not even have to worry about it.
It's going to help your body buffer your acid waste. So if you're working out, I tell people all the time, we increase the efficacy of exercise by up to 250%. What does that actually mean? That means that you're getting 250 times the workout that you think you're doing. What's that going to do to your muscle soreness, to your lactic acid buildup whenever you're done? After I work with you and 2 days later, you feel like you're in a full body cast because you didn't drink right and you can't move, right? So we always tell who's drinking their water because the people that aren't are still sore to the point that they have a difficult time moving 7 days later.
Wow. That's so interesting. Yesterday I followed a turtle. I was out snorkeling in one of the little bays, and I like ran into this turtle. Like, whoa! It surprised me, Oh, look at that, pretty good sized turtle. And I sat and followed that guy for like about 40 minutes, and I just swam where he swam right next to him, got to touch him, and he was totally cool about it. He, she, I don't know. But by the time I was done, my calves from kicking my flippers were rather worked, and I was thinking I was going to end up being pretty sore this morning, but I'm not. And so I have to chalk that up to all the water that I drank yesterday, because we're in the middle of this gallon challenge of making sure we get down a gallon of water a day. And, I think it's definitely paying off. And I know that a lot of people, they don't grasp the understanding of why this water does what it does. But I know that I love the explanation that Dr. Michael gave about it, where he compares it to a bundle of grapes, where if you take those grapes and you got your jug and you want to get those grapes into your jug and you just go like that, you might get one grape in there, the rest are going to splatter all over the side of the jug. Or if you really wanted to get them in, you just pluck them and drop them through the hole. And that's basically what this machine does, is it's plucking those grapes, correct?
Correct.
So that they can get sucked in there. And for people who don't quite understand this, imagine that you just cooked a big pot of chili or something like that. You got this great big pot and you got all this chili residue all around the sides of it. It's all dirty and it needs to be cleaned. And you got this great big old pot to clean, and yet you've only got a small cup of water to clean it with. How clean are you going to be able to get that water, get that pot? Where now, if you've got a steady stream of running water that you can sit there and rinse and clean and rinse and pour it out and do it some more, you can get that baby nice and clean, right? And that's basically what's happening with our cells. The water's getting in there, and it's getting in completely and filling up the cell and getting deep into the cell and being able to literally flush all the crap out of there, just like as if you were cleaning a pot in your kitchen sink versus cleaning a pot out in the wilderness with only a small, tiny little bit of water to clean it with. It's going to be much more difficult to get that thing clean and get all the crud out of it.
Exactly. And also, this water has the nutrients that your body needs. I think I've talked about before that we've found calcium ion channels that are actually playing more of a significant role than what we thought sodium and potassium were playing in skeletal muscle function. But if you are constantly taking in a bottle tap or RO, number one, the quality of your water, the impurities that you're taking in, even if we only look at chlorine and fluoride and we don't take into account everything else that's going into your drinking water, if we just take those two chemicals and it's not natural fluoride like you're going to find in a stream that's a drinking water source, it's a product of industrial manufacturing, basically industrial processes. And it's not healthy. We're not supposed to take that in. We've talked a lot on the negative effects of these chemicals and what happens if you're constantly taking that in every single day. On top of that, chlorine dehydrates you. We take our showers in it, we swim in it, we bathe in it, but if you're drinking it, not good. You got to get that stuff out, but you still need the minerals. So if you're drinking reverse osmosis, you're stripping all of the minerals out of your body, and your body needs those minerals to buffer your pH, because homeostasis all comes back to a finite pH within the body. So if it can't get it from your water, and it can't get minerals from your diet, because most of us are either eating food-like substance or genetically modified produce, which has had a lot of the enzymes taken out, where's your body going to get those minerals to buffer your pH?
Right.
It's going to get it from your bones, from your joints, from your connective tissues.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something I've mentioned to people is that, hey, great, you know, you trade heartburn for osteoporosis. Yay. You know, and you know, people that want to put baking soda and lemon in their water to balance out their pH, and they don't even realize how much damage they're doing to their system by utilizing such a technique.
Not to mention the kidneys.
Yeah. It's interesting if you read a box of baking soda that it actually has a warning about eating it on there. And yet people take a tablespoon and stick it in their water, throw a little lemon in there and think that they're doing themselves something good just because it took their heartburn away.
Yeah, what's worse is that there are people who are being instructed to do that by individuals that they're trusting with their well-being.
Yeah.
And these individuals are saying, oh no, that alkalized water is a scam. Of course, they don't call it alkalized water, they call it alkaline water. That's a scam. Just take a little bit of baking soda and put it in your water and it'll accomplish the same thing. Yeah. People don't realize that allows toxicity to build in the body because we're not getting the high pH from additives, we're getting it from electrolysis.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because that's the thing is we're getting the pH through by default, basically. It's as far as the four components of this water, the pH is actually really the least important aspect of the water, as far as I can tell. And it's something that just comes by default.
I would almost go so far as to call it a byproduct.
Yeah. Yeah, because you just get it. And like I can't remember who it was that told me about it. That you know sometimes you'll test this water and you put pH drops in it and you'll have like a light blue color, but then your ORP, you test the ORP and you've got a really strong negative ORP. And that negative ORP is much more important than the color of the water, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
For anybody that understands what pH actually is, it stands for potential hydrogen. So if we're talking about this, it would make sense that the higher your pH count in the water, the higher your pH, the lower your ORP. So the more negative your ORP is going to be. And so a higher pH would correlate to more antioxidant potential within the water. So that's a good gauge. But you hit the nail on the head. We're looking at the charge. We're looking at how we've structured that water and how we've been able to divide and structure those molecules down so that they're smaller and you get better hydration, you get more anti-inflammatory and antioxidant effects. You get more energy into the cells so that the body's able to get more of a charge to do more repair.
All right. So, you know, I've got something I got to ask you about, because my left knee, as I've told you, I've got a really, really bad left knee. My left knee is completely bone on bone on the inside part of my knee. When you look at my X-ray, it's just completely bone to bone. There's no space whatsoever, and every step hurts. Every step that I take, I know that I've had a great blessing from this water in that my barometer that used to be in that knee, where I could tell you when the weather was going to change, that I don't have that anymore. But the pain from walking with a bone on bone joint, and then like trying to exercise and things like that, this left knee and my left calf in general, my left calf is last time I measured it, it was just a little over an inch smaller in diameter than my right calf. My right calf, you can feel it. It's just way bigger, way stronger. And the left one is definitely an issue. And I'm guessing that utilizing the Newbie might help me to be able to bring that strength back and be able to build that calf up without the impact, you know, because it's difficult to like work that calf out without pain to the knee. What do you think about that? Do you think it's going to be something that might be an area where I really see some improvement?
I think you're a pretty clever guy, and I'm inclined to agree with you. Number one, we can speed the healing of tissues. So while I can't say that I can rebuild the cartilage in your knees, because that wouldn't fall under our 8 FDA indications for the device, but we can have a conversation about how we can turn those muscles back on. We can take that force out of the joint, and we can give your body the correct signals to try and reduce that inflammation and reduce that breakdown process. At the very least, get you out of pain and get you moving better. And then we can discuss how we can stimulate your body's ability to heal in a consultation. But yes, that's something that I deal with quite frequently. And the reason that you're losing mass in that calf is because your body is sensing through mechanisms that are constantly, I mean, you've got millions of signals going to and from your brain every second about your body position, about force on your joints, about tension on your muscles, about the air in your lungs. Your body's constantly taking readings, blood pH, stomach acid, digestion, everything, and all of this information gets processed and filtered through your brain. So if you're losing muscle mass on a leg that you know that you have an issue with, and you're losing that distal to the joint, it's because your body is sensing that you have a compromised joint, And so it's causing you to throw extra weight into the opposite leg to compensate for the injury in that joint so that you don't break something.
Yeah.
It's also going to cause calcium to go into that joint to try and shore it up. And that's a pretty in-depth discussion, but just know that's what we would refer to as arthritis, right? So you got force going into somewhere that it doesn't belong, and the body's going to try and shore it up so that you don't end up with a snap. But that's all stuff that we can work with.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. I've just been basically, ever since I heard about you and what you do, I've basically just been kind of biding my time, because I was on the verge of going and having them go ahead and chop my leg in half and put in a spare part, and after meeting you and hearing about what you're doing, I was like, maybe there's a dang good chance that I can keep my OEM part and I don't have to get a spare part. And that right there, I'll tell you what, I think that, a big portion of why we do this show is to share stories. And I think that my story is going to be one heck of a story in regards to the newbie and the efficacy of it. And because if I can utilize this technology to be able to walk again and that without pain and be able to keep my OEM part, it's going to be one heck of a story to tell, to show people what this thing is capable of and what your body is capable of if you give it what it needs. Because there's a lot of people out there just like me that they're the only way they know, the only thing they know of to be able to fix this problem is to go have a new part put in. And just knowing that there's something else that's way safer, way less painful. I can't imagine that having my leg chopped in half and then having that put in isn't going to be painful, so I'm thinking that this will be a lot less painful and a lot more effective.
And the great thing is we should be able to reduce your pain within the first couple of sessions. We actually aim to help 90% of people on the first session. But one thing that we found, we've actually got case studies showing that when people are pre-treated with the newbie and then they go in for a joint replacement surgery, the surgery goes better, the recovery time is shortened. And then on the back end, when we're talking about post-surgical recovery, we've taken some recoveries down from multiple months to, we're talking like from 8 to 10 months down to just a few weeks. That people are getting back to what they were, more than they were able to do before surgery. So there's a lot of possibilities there. Again, everybody's situation is unique, and it's difficult for me to say without seeing any imaging or really knowing too much about your situation and what you're working with. How effective we could be or what the possibilities really are, we would have to do some consulting probably with your physician on that, see how far we could get you. But I've got friends who have protein enzyme activators. We've got, you've got the Kangen water. And then whenever we incorporate this technology and we start talking about what you're able to do as far as diet and nutrition and really getting your body what it needs to be able to repair. I've seen a lot of people who have been told that they're bone on bone. I've actually got one client who was told that she had grade 4 fissures in both of her knees and that she was bone on bone and had to have a bilateral knee replacement. And to this day, she's never had the knees replaced and she doesn't complain about her knees bothering her. So I am not saying that I cured anything, okay? But we saw her condition improve.
Yeah.
Her life improved.
Well, like we say around here all the time, it isn't the newbie, it isn't Kangen water, it's our body. It's, what we have is technology that helps our body do its job. It gives the body the tools in the toolbox that it needs to become its own mechanic. And we flat out know for a fact that our body is designed to heal itself. And as far as I'm, every day I'm becoming more and more convinced of what Dr. Oz says, which is that there is no such thing as an incurable disease. There is a point of no return where you've let it get too far and there's nothing that can be done about it. But, we've even seen some of that stuff be able to get reversed. And, it's pretty amazing what the body can do if you just give it what it needs and give it some stimulation in the right direction. Sounds like that's
Right.
what it is.
It's not a cure. It's not a magic pill that you can take that makes all of your problems go away. The issue is most people aren't looking for a cure. They don't realize it. Most people will tell you that they're awake, but they go through their entire life sleepwalking. They're born asleep. They go to work in their sleep. They marry in their sleep. They raise kids in their sleep. They die in their sleep, and they've never actually woken up to the truth. And they say they want to be cured, but they don't really. They want a pill. They want relief from their problems without having to make a change. A cure would be painful. They would have to do something to get that. You have to earn that. And most people don't want that.
Right.
But when you give your body what it needs to be able to function properly, the body will adapt. Specific adaptation to impose demand. The body will get better at whatever you repeatedly ask it to do. So if we're constantly, the old adage, garbage in, garbage out, that is literally 100% truth. So if people come to me and they ask me to put electrodes on them and help them work out, but they're not changing anything in their home life, they're not changing anything in their diet, they're not taking responsibility for the situation that put them in that situation to begin with, and they're doing nothing to change it, expecting this to be a silver bullet, those people are not successful.
Right.
Neither are they successful with the water, because it takes like 34 glasses of Kangen water to reverse one soda. If you're constantly putting that garbage into your body, you're constantly stuck in an acidic environment, and you're going to be in a anaerobic glycolytic metabolism. So you're burning sugar. You can't burn fat. You can't release toxins because you're taking in more than your body can get rid of.
Right.
It's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, it's so interesting because like I've been having a discussion over the last couple of days with a guy that he sent me a message trying to sell me into his real estate investment program. And I was like, well, I already wasted about $40,000 on that kind of stuff. And it was a big mistake. I should have paid more attention to Kangen water. And basically that real estate conversation has shifted over to Kangen water now. And, his big thing is, oh yeah, I know about the pH of it. And I'm like, did you know that's the least important aspect of it? And so I'm in the process of trying to help him learn, but he's all into scientific studies. He wants scientific studies that are specifically about Kangen water. And I'm like, well, just search ERW or electrolyzed reduced water on PubMed or Google Scholar, and you'll find hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of studies. And that's what Kangen water is. It's electrolyzed reduced water. And it's the best source in the world for being able to get this kind of water. Is it not?
It is. And the funny thing is, if you go to Enagic's website, Enagic's own website says that Kangen water is electrolyzed reduced water. It's not ionized alkaline water the way that some of the knockoff copycat manufacturers are claiming that they make the same water. They absolutely do not make the same water, because in order to have electrolyzed reduced water, you have to have a machine that can produce it. That takes a serious amount of power.
Yeah.
And as far as your guy that wants all the studies, I would just simply say, well, why don't you conduct your own study, drink the water and see how you feel?
That's a good point. Yeah. You know, that in that particular case, then that's always where the cost of the machine comes into play. And, you know,
No,
like,
doing a test drive.
yeah, because you can literally give it a test drive for 21 days, maybe a little more, maybe 22, 23 days, depending on your shipping time. But, you know, if you want to send it back, if you have it back to them within 30 days, then there's a restocking fee. I always tell all my people, if you really give it a shot, I'll pay your restocking fee, but you got to use the water, you got to drink the water. And if you got to be fair with me, because if you are expecting me to pay all this money out of my pocket for something you're not even using, you're not even trying, you're not even being fair with, then I'm not gonna do that. But if you'll drink a gallon a day, if you'll do your laundry, if you'll wash your vegetables, if you'll use it to clean your house and do everything that you can do with it, and then at the end of that you still want to send it back, fair enough. But I've only had one person send the machine back, and that was my dad. And he never even used it. Never drank it, never used it, never nothing. And so no, I did not pay his restocking fee.
Prophet is never without honor except in his own home, right?
Yeah, it's amazing, man. It really is. Because like Tammy Young said, once you understand the benefits of this machine and this water, the cost is completely insignificant. It doesn't even matter. You would pay 10 times, 20 times the cost of this machine to have it once you understand the benefits and the longevity and all of that. And, you know, she says, I wish I would have had it 10 years ago.
The thing that people don't realize about this, even about what we do, you know, whenever I got hurt in 2015, we prayed for an avenue to be able to get me better, first and foremost, but then to be able to subsequently take people in the same situation and give them an avenue to be empowered and to allow them to heal. And just looking at my own walk and what this business is and what it actually provides to people, it couldn't be a better answer to prayer than what it is, because every single thing that we were asking for, this business has provided. And people don't even understand the value. They think that they're getting a kitchen appliance and they ignore the business side of it because they don't believe in the product and they don't recognize we've got a recession-proof business that really can meet needs about 100% of people on the planet, because everybody is dealing with oxidative stress. Everybody is dealing with issues. Everybody needs antioxidants unless they're going to try and hold their breath and stop breathing. And I don't recommend that. You won't get very far. Everybody talking about the bubble getting ready to burst, and our team's getting ready to close 4 sales internationally. So,
Yeah. Okay. You can't beat it. You absolutely cannot beat this company and the people that are involved with it. It's, you know, that's the other side of the equation, is just the amazing people. I am so grateful to the people that I've met in the last 3 years for being part of this company. And I say all the time that this is a life-changing company, and it's not just because of the company, but it's because of the mindset and the people. And you know, when you surround yourself with better people, you end up with a better mindset. And that's exactly what's happened for me in this business, is being able to meet people like you and, just all the people that are involved with this that are so incredible. And, you know, we all have other people's best interests in mind. And when you've got other people's best interests in mind, it just seems that it's pretty difficult to fail when you've got something that revolves around helping other people as well as helping yourself, because you help other people, that you're automatically going to help yourself too. And so, yeah, Ian, gosh, I mean, I'm just so grateful to be here and to have this opportunity. And I'm looking so forward to learning more about this and working towards my goal of being able to actually be part of what you're doing and work with you and potentially travel around with you as part of the mobile thing in the West. When you're out here in this neck of the woods, I'll be able to come with you and help you and that kind of thing. And whatever. I don't know where it's all going to go, but I do know that I want to give it a shot, and I want to utilize it. And I believe that God has put me in this position for a reason. I got a lot of people to help, and I can already think of a bunch of people that once we know when the date is going to be, that you're going to be coming to Salt Lake City, that I got a whole bunch of people that are going to be interested in learning about this, including my knee doctor. He's a good friend of mine. And I'm quite sure that he'll be super interested in learning about this. And so,
if that's the case, you let me know what you got, and I'll come out to Salt Lake City.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. We're basically in Salt Lake City. We're in Sandy, which is 10 miles to the southeast of Salt Lake City, just in the big valley there. And so, when you're putting your schedule together and your trip map, come on through Utardia. Let me show you some fun here in Utardia.
Well, I've been needing to plan a trip out to Arizona and hit the West Coast, but I haven't had quite enough demand to justify me taking another trip yet, because I need a few more people to work on. But if you've got a couple of people that want to work for a couple of weeks, we can definitely put that together, and just let me know what you guys are looking at. I'll calculate what I think my expenses are, and we'll see if it makes sense for me to come out that way for a little bit, and then I can just hit my other peeps on the way back through. So we don't have to wait any length of time. I mean, I hate to think, if you got a knee that's really killing you, that you would have to wait until we got this whole thing going. I'd rather just jet out there real quick and get you patched up, and then we can talk about where we go from there.
Yeah, I would definitely be interested in talking to you about that and seeing what it's going to take and what how we can work it out, because I think I've got I'm going to have a heck of a story to tell. I'm going to be a great guinea pig. And and I think if people that know me, they know what I've gone through over this last 10 years with my knee, and if we can do some documentation, some before and after things, and so on and so forth, and then it's going to be powerful. It's going to be something really big. And I believe in this so much that my plans are to open up a water store and incorporate it with the newbie come next year. That's my plan, is to be able to get to that position where we can have because Salt Lake City needs a water store, and I need to be the one. I need to be the one to put it together.
Half water store, half neurological rehabilitation center.
Amen. Yeah, buddy. I mean, the whole idea of just being, just hearing over the last year, the things that you've been doing, it's exciting. I love the idea of being able to help people. And You know, these are things that people they don't even think is possible. You know, if the doctor says you're paralyzed, you're paralyzed. Bummer. That's what people think. And the truth is, that's not the truth. And I want to show them that. I want to prove it to them. And so, yeah, brother, this is awesome. I know you're getting ready where you've got to get moving, and I know we want to get moving and enjoy our last full day here on the island and
Yeah.
get ready for our trip home. But yeah, brother, thank you so much. And you know, whatever kind of stuff that we've got that I can promote with, keep sending me all of that stuff. Stuff that anything that can help people like my knee doctor and people like my nephew that he's got RSD. And he had a knee surgery years ago, and from that knee surgery, he ended up with RSD. And he doesn't believe there's anything that can help him, and whatever. And maybe getting a chance to be able to get him on the line with you might really help him out a lot. But I'm guessing he's one of those people that would love to take a crack at this when we can get you into town and that kind of thing. And so
We've got some video testimonies of people with RSD who have worked with NewFit. I've consulted with NewFit corporate since I started using this technology on how to work with RSD clients. And out of the 5 days that I was teaching down in Texas, 3 days were spent at NewFit corporate teaching their new practitioners some advanced neurological concepts and how to deal with special cases. So I'm definitely always happy to hop on the phone and discuss that.
Awesome. Yeah, so make sure to share whatever you've got that is okay for me to share out to to promote this, because I want to start promoting it. If you're going to be coming into town sometime in the near future, I'd like to promote it as best I can, and hopefully get a nice little crowd of people here for you to talk to and do some sort of a demo with or whatever, we got to get the word out about this, man. This is important stuff. This is real healing. This isn't like the witch doctor voodoo crap that they're doing in the hospital. This is real deal. This is like real body healing, giving the body its ability to heal itself on conroids, as I like to call it.
Well, I've got to teach another class towards the end of April, but then after that, if you want to shoot for like May or something and just take a couple of weeks, if you start putting your peeps together, we can definitely get something rolling for you. And even if I just come out and work with some people and we talk about how we can get you guys started, anybody that wants to get going directly, like right away with financing, we do have a third-party financier that we work with directly. They will finance Kangen machines and they will finance newbies. And so I've got my own rep that I go directly to with all my new clients, and they just plug the information in and say, okay, this is what we got.
Man, that sounds exciting. This is just getting so exciting, brother. I can't tell you, man. I'm really looking forward to this, and because I've been suffering for a long time, and the only thing I saw, the only avenue of relief I saw was to go chop my leg in half and put in a spare part, and just the concept of the possibility of not having to do that is extremely encouraging, extremely exciting.
Or making it less violent in the process.
Yeah, exactly.
I do want to share a couple of things with you because I always try and make sure that I have something prepared anytime that we're going to go on video, because I want people, my goal is to get people to wake up to the reality that they're living in to stop being asleep. We talk about the matrix, and nobody fully understands what we're talking about when we describe this construct that people are a slave to. And I'm reading a book that you're gonna want to get a copy of. It's just really incredible. But he talks about a story, and really it's talking about perception and perspective. And I felt compelled to share this morning because whenever I talk about Kangen water, everybody looks at me like I must be the biggest idiot on the face of the planet because water is water. Mm-hmm. And nobody puts emphasis on water the way that some people put emphasis on diet. And so I read this story and I just couldn't help it. I had to share it. So I'm reminded of the story of little Johnny. Everybody thought he was mentally challenged, but evidently he wasn't. Johnny was put into special classes and he didn't excel in his environment. He became angry and bitter. One day in modeling class, he takes a lump of putty and goes into the corner of the room to start playing with it. The teacher came up to him and asked, "Hey, Johnny, what have you got there?" Johnny replied, "This is a lump of cow dung." The teacher asked, "What are you making with it?" To which Johnny replied, "A teacher." The teacher thought that Johnny's mental state was regressing, so he brought the principal and the conversation continued. The principal says, "What have you got there, Johnny?" Johnny replies, "A lump of cow dung." "And what are you making with it?" "A principal." Completely beside themselves, they call for the school psychologist. He comes in and says, "Hey, Johnny, that's a nice lump of cow dung, and I bet I know what you're making with it." "What's that?" replies Johnny. "A psychologist." Johnny says, "Wrong. Not enough cow dung." The moral of the story, don't think you're better than somebody else just because they're different than you. We can't judge what we don't understand, or what we judge we can't understand, rather. So as soon as we slap a label on somebody or something, our understanding has stopped in that moment because we're no longer trying to perceive the situation for anything more than the label that we're willing to put on it.
Right. Wow. You see, kids, this is why we call him the Voltinator. He shocks you with truth and love and wisdom. And yeah, it's awesome, brother. I love it. And I'm looking so forward to working with you on this and helping change lives for the better. Because that's what this is all about, man. We got lives to change. We got a world to change. Because as our good buddy Sean would say, we are the Kong family, and we're here to change the world. One glass of hydrogen-rich, oxygen-saturated, incredibly hydrating Kangen water, 9.5 at a time. And one lightning bolt in a box, one incredible guest, one amazing, informative show at a time, and one blessed family. And we pray that God will help this message get out there to people, that we'll be able to touch people's hearts and their minds, and that we'll be able to make a difference because of all of this stuff that he has given us to be able to work with, and the incredible people that he's put into our lives. And Ian, thank you. Thank you, brother. Thank you for everything you do, everything you're going to continue to do. And I look super forward to working with you. And that day when I get to give you a real hug, not just one of these kinds of hugs, I get to give you a real one.
Absolutely.
All right.
Next time you go to the islands, maybe we'll be able to hang out with you.
Oh yeah, well, that's the next time I come out here to the islands. I want it to be with a group of friends and with some people that have been here and know what's going on. And, you know, there's some interesting lessons that I've learned in coming to this place at this particular time. And it's all stuff that I can build upon and make it better next time.
Absolutely.
And, you know, so that's what it's all about, learning and growing and making things better. So,
Amen.
brother, I love you. Have yourself a great day. Everybody that's on the live side, thanks for being here. Hope you guys found some value out of this like I did today. And get out there, change the world, starting with your own. And don't forget your hugs and your hooty hoos. Love you, buddy. Have a great day. Thanks
too.
again.
Thank
Bye
you.
for now.
Bye.